Good morning, dear students. I welcome you all to this new class of social science for this week. For this week, children, I decided to pick up civics. So, before getting into the chapter, let me give you a briefing of what are we going to study now. Since teachers have taught you the earlier chapters in civics, that is chapter 1, 2 and 3, and now it is the turn of chapter 4, which is understanding laws, class 8, civics chapter 4, right? So before beginning with the chapter, let me make you understand what are we going to study in this chapter. So children, detailed explanation of the chapter is given in the book, whereas you have the questions and answers also, but this time we will be changing some questions because the books are having the questions which are more of practical work. So to make you feel more comfortable in terms of questions and answers, children, we have derived and we have formulated separate questions from the chapter, which I am going to attach with the third class of this week. Alright, so now let us quickly see the chapter, which is understanding laws. Before beginning with the chapter, I will like you all to answer it to yourself, since it is not a live class. Children, suppose if you imagine our country would have been free of police, no government, no parliament, no rules, no restrictions, what kind of country it would have been? Of course, there would be looting, there would be robbery, there would be thefts, there would be riots, there would be fights, there would be murders, and so many things, which indeed is accomplished as or is known as crime. So, children, not just crime, the social attitudes of people will also change towards each other in society. Therefore, remember, our government has its own importance, and so does is the topic for today's class is laws. To make it more clear, let me give you a quick recap of what we did. In the previous chapters, children, you must have read about different laws, such as what age a person can vote, because this is a law only which is restricting people below the age of 18 that they cannot go and cast their vote. So it is a law which is universal adult franchise, which says that people above 18 years can cast their vote. Similarly, children, the age at which men and women can get married. So we know that democratic country like India, the parliament body is in charge of making different laws. To make it more simple, children, a country like ours, which is a democratic country, children, I think you all must have been clear with the word democracy. What actually democracy means? Simple. A democratic country has the government made by its people, for its people, and of its people. Let me clear it with you all. A country's government which is made for the people, by the people, and of the people, for the people. A government which is being elected by the country's citizen, that is going to work for us. So for the people, by the people. Who elected these representatives? Who selected this government? Us, we. So by the people and of the people. Of the people means we don't have any aliens or any foreigners coming and ruling our country. It is the first criteria to stand in an election. The nationality of that person should be Indian. So the government is of the people, by the people, and for the people. I hope the meaning of democracy is right there in your mind now. Now I would request you all, please do not forget this basic meaning, since we are living in a country which is a democratic country. I know you must be knowing other forms of government which are in other countries of the world. Like our country is a democratic country, but there is another form of government which is monarchy. We'll discuss it in other class. So quickly let's jump to the topic in itself. So children, our country which is a democratic one, our country's laws are completely related to the parliament body. That parliamentary body decides, right? So in this chapter, children, we will try to understand whether these laws are applicable to everyone, how these new laws are formed, number 2, and number 3, can a new law be controversial? Suppose you are in your family and some person try to break into your house with the motive of robbery. What will you do? You people will decide, now we are going to lock our houses by this time. Nobody is going to leave the house alone. Anybody has to be there in the house, and then all of you are having the sample keys, or like that. Unless and until you witness something, children, you will not come across with its solutions. Therefore, our parliamentary body, our governing bodies, the members of the parliament who have seen a lot while drafting the constitution, children, they have suffered a lot. They have seen a lot, children, at the time of struggle, children. At the time of struggle of independence, they have seen a lot. So once you get to face any problem, you will definitely come out with the solutions to those problems in the next step. So our parliamentary body does all the targeted work of formulating the laws. Now our first question, which this chapter is going to answer. I hope, children, these points till now are clearly understood by everyone. Still you have any doubt, do write it in the comment section. I will try my level best to answer to your questions, right? If it is possible to answer it in a written format, I will answer. If you need to understand anything, definitely I am going to pick it up for the next class, where I will explain that content again. But for that you need to watch the content also. You just don't need to switch it forward and then finish the content. You need to listen to the content and you need to listen to the explanation, children, right? All right. So, do laws apply to all? What do you think? Our country is a democratic country. Yes, you got the correct answer. Laws are applied to all. So I will explain this with a very simple example. Suppose a top government official helps his daughter in hiding because the latter has been given a 5-year sentence for the crime. Former and latter, these are two different words which I am sure you must be knowing. Former means the previous part which is being talked about. Latter means the second part which has been being talked about in a sentence. Example: I love watermelon more than an apple. So if I am going to simplify this sentence, I will say I love the former fruit more than the latter one. So former was watermelon, latter was an apple. So former is always being referred to the person or any commodity which has been talked about earlier. Latter means later one, the after one. So the latter here is signifying the government official's daughter. So the government official is trying to hide his daughter against some crime for which the daughter has been given 5 years imprisonment, right? So the crime that she has committed, which she has been proved in the court. From this example, it is clear that the official's action is against the law. It is clear that he has tried to violate the law. since the judgment was given fair enough. But the government official tried to violate the law, plus he was going against the norms of the government. Because hiding and helping the guilty ones is also a crime, children. Now, in chapter 1, children, if you remember, it was explained that while framing the constitution and framing different laws, the members of the Constituent Assembly have agreed on this fact that independent India there shall be no arbitrary exercise of power. I referred to this incident previously that because of our constitution makers who have seen so much of struggle, violence, bloodshed in the struggle for independence. Thus, they don't want our Indian government to be an arbitrary form. Arbitrary words meaning is, children, please note it down with a pencil, where no control, no restriction is there. Simply a dictatorship, arbitrary, where no control is there, where no restriction is there. And that is what we have witnessed over 200 years ago when East India Company was ruling over us. Therefore, this was the urge by the constitution makers, children, that they don't want our country to be an arbitrary one. Alright? So, hence, several provisions were instituted in the constitution that would establish the law's rule. Since we will not have arbitrary form of government where one person is going to dictate us, therefore it was a need of the hour to implement, formulate, frame different laws and the rule for those laws. If somebody is doing this much, that person is going to be given this punishment, that person is going to be given this time of imprisonment. So everything was being framed. Therefore, to avoid arbitrary form of government, our constitution makers pleaded, they urged to have an democratic form of government, therefore need to formulate laws was a must. The most important among all rules was that all the citizens of India were equal. Children, since chapter 1, we are seeing from trade to territory how we Indians were being discriminated on social background, economical background, racial background. Therefore, children, the most important law while constitution was drafted was that there will be no discrimination and all the citizens are equal before the eyes of law, children, right? So law does not discriminate between citizens on the basis of their caste, region or religion. The rules of the law means that no citizen is above law and all these laws are applied equally over every citizen. So this is a rule of the law. For example, you are going to play a new game. Won't you be made familiar with the rules of that game? That if you are doing this, so and so will happen. If you are going this, so and so will be taken place. Therefore, formulating laws and execution of laws is entitled to have specific rules. Clear? So this rule means that all the citizens are, number one, equal before the eyes of the law, plus nobody is above the law or the law. Nobody is equal above the country's law. So we all are equal. Alright, children? So we get to know that laws are a must, and then for implementation, equal implementation of law, rules are must. So this much is clearly indicating that all the citizens of our country are equal before the eyes of the law. And nobody is beyond those laws. Alright? So if a person commits crime or violates the law, it has a specific punishment. There also exists a process through which the person's guilt or it can be established or it can be proved. However, the question is, has the system always been like this? Now, since we are coming across with this system where a person who has done some crime will be proven guilty with some processes ahead. Now the next question which comes to our mind is, was the system like this before? Was the system like this always? No. In ancient times, there existed innumerable laws. Local laws often overlap each other. Means in the previous time, there were innumerable laws. Many laws were there. Laws used to overlap each other. One law in this field was going to overlap other law coming from another field. So, since there were innumerable laws, they used to overlap. Different communities, children, had different stages of authority as they administered these laws among themselves. Different communities of the places had their own different laws, and they used to administer and monitor their own community. In some cases, two people belonging to different castes received different punishments. For example, an upper caste person had a fight with a scheduled caste in earlier times when we did not get independence. There, these lower caste people were considered to be untouchables, isn't it? So there was no punishment for that upper caste person, but in spite of that, children, the lower caste person was being given all the blame. So this whole blame game was being given on the lower caste. So the laws were subjected. They were biased, belonging to different communities or social groups. Therefore, while the upper caste person received lenient punishment, and those belonging to lower caste received the harsh punishments. However, children, during the colonial period, this process began to change as the laws started evolving. Since the Britishers came from Europe, the Western world, they were coming from that world with a place where laws holded a lot of importance. So they tried to imbibe into our country the importance of law. Hence, that was the time when laws started gaining importance. So children, that's all for today's class. I hope the introduction of the chapter is clearly comprehended by you all. Have a safe time, stay home and stay safe. Bye-bye, take care. This time there is no written work, but for the third class, I am going to attach all the written work with the class. Thank you so much and have a nice day. Bye-bye.